If you're looking for ore in Soulmask, this is going to be your guide to early game ore locations. In this video, I'm just going to show you the locations for early game, but I will have an ultimate guide to all locations, early game and late game, coming out on my channel in the future. Cite is one of the earliest resources you're going to be looking for in order to make your beast bone ring, and this is a random drop from harvesting rocks. You will randomly get cite when you are harvesting rocks. If you're looking for clay, you need to look along any of the freshwater areas that are on the map. Clay looks like a dimpled wet rock and can be found along the shores of the freshwater areas. In order to harvest this, you simply need a stone pick or better. The first metal ore that I want to cover is tin. It is one of the first ores that you should be going after in Soulmask. Now keep in mind that this location is going to have some panthers and some other enemies in this area, so I recommend being in at least beast hide armor before you come out here, and you should have bone weapons and bone tools. If you use stone tools on any of these resources, you will destroy the resource but not gain any of the resources, so you at least need a bone pickaxe before you can go after these resources. And I've shown the map a couple of times here. This area is simply littered with tin ore. There are also a couple of areas that have tin ore inside of caves. I'm marking and showing you those locations on the map as well, but I'm not going to travel to those locations and show you those areas. This area that I'm in right now has enough tin ore for you to fill up your inventory, as well as a mount inventory if you happen to have one already. And if you're not sure how to get a mount in Soulmask, I've got a guide for that on my channel already, and I'll link that in the description of this video. And it's not a bad idea to come down to this area with a couple of picks in your inventory so that you can make one trip and get as much tin as you can possibly carry. Next, we're going to look at copper. Copper is in a barbarian barrack, or at least attached to it. But there are copper mines all across this river where you'll find different enemies inside of them, but you'll find a lot of copper in this area. The enemies that you're going to encounter here can be up to level 20. So again, you need to be in at least beast hide armor with bone weapons and tools to come to this area. They can be overwhelmed if you come up here in a group and you don't have beast hide armor and bone gear, but you will need a bone pick in order to harvest the copper. And the copper in this area wraps all the way around on multiple levels, so make sure you're exploring to find all the copper nodes that are up here. Again, I recommend bringing a mount with you so that you can get all the copper that is in this area. On the second level of this area, you'll see a small hole in the wall behind it. If you go through that, you will have access to the river section where I showed you that there are a lot of caves in that area. At the bottom of the wooden walkway, you will be met with a scout camp. If you can take them on and interrogate the scout, it should unlock this location for you. And I will at some point have a full guide to unlocking every location on the map on my channel, so do keep your eyes out for that. Once it's posted, you'll find that link in the description of this video. Once you get down to the lowest section towards the river, you will find some more enemies to fight. The jaguar that I'm fighting is level 24, so make sure you're prepared to fight some higher level enemies in this area. But if you can make it past the enemies either by running or by fighting your way through here, once you're down on this level running along the river, there is a lot of copper that is outside along the river. And then, like I said, there are caves that have a lot of copper in them as well. The next resource that I want to cover is salt. Now, this is down on the beach early on, and there's this small salt pan that is guarded by about 5 enemies. Now, these are low-level enemies. You should be able to take them on rather early. However, you won't be using the salt for a little while. It is useful in a lot of the really good cooking recipes, so you'll want to start getting this salt as early as possible and stockpile it for when you can start making those better food items. My guess would be that if you're on a public server, this location is going to be tapped out a lot when you come down here. So anytime you get a chance to get some salt in this area early on, you should do that, because the other areas to get salt are quite far away. Now, this isn't the only location where you can harvest salt down in this area, but it is the easiest. The next location is further south in a swampy area, and it is in a Flint tribe barrack with the enemies ranging up to level 25, so this is going to be a more difficult area to get salt. However, once you've dispatched most of the enemies, as long as you stay in the water, you will see these salt pans and you can mine that salt. If you're looking for silver, it is a rare resource that can drop when you are harvesting other resources. However, I find this to be a slower way to get silver. A much faster way to get silver is to raid the barbarian barrack camps and then loot the chests that are behind the bosses as well as the bosses themselves. They can carry both silver and gold trinkets, and the chests that are behind the bosses can contain silver as well. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. Don't be out of whack. There's another video on the screen right now that you can watch to support more of my content.